I have questions about the end of the story of Moses. So, okay, if there is a historical Moses, where is this guy? I mean, where was he buried?
According to the biblical tradition, he ended on the other side of the valley.
If a historical Moses truly existed, one big question remains: where was he buried? According to biblical tradition, Moses ended his journey on the other side of the valley. Regardless of your beliefs, whether you're Christian, Muslim, or of any other faith, you've likely encountered the name Moses more than a few times. Moses is an iconic figure in the histories of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Whether his story is fact or legend, his impact on the Abrahamic religions is undeniable. Many biblical accounts agree on one mysterious detail. When Moses died, his burial site was deliberately concealed and remains a mystery to this day. But is it still a mystery? Renowned modern-day explorer Josh Gates has recently claimed to have uncovered the long-hidden tomb of Moses. What's more, Gates suggests the site resembles an artificial stone mound known as a cairn, concealing a tomb beneath. The revelations don't stop there. Gates also claims to have discovered something deeply unsettling inside the tomb, something that's causing ripples of controversy and fascination across religious communities worldwide. What exactly did he find, and why is it stirring such intense reactions? Get ready, because what we're about to share could completely change your perspective on one of history's most enigmatic figures. Stay tuned for an exploration of Moses' life and the astonishing discovery tied to his legacy. Moses, his life, legacy, and the mystery of his burial site. Moses, the great prophet who led the Israelites out of Egyptian bondage, has been the focus of countless texts, stories, and debates. While much of his life and achievements are well documented, one part of his story remains shrouded in mystery: his final resting place. True to his adventurous spirit, modern explorer Josh Gates embarked on a mission to uncover this enigmatic burial site. His journey led him to Mount Nebo, a location traditionally linked to Moses' death. But do archaeological findings support the existence of Moses' tomb? Before diving into what Josh discovered, let's take a closer look at Moses' life and why the mystery of his burial holds such profound significance. Moses, a prophet, leader, and lawgiver. Moses is a central figure in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His story is told primarily in the Hebrew Bible, specifically in the books of Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Early life in Egypt. Moses was born in Egypt during a time when the Israelites, also called Hebrews, were enslaved. This was likely around the late 14th century BCE, approximately 1391 BCE. Fearing the growing Israelite population, Pharaoh decreed that all newborn Hebrew boys be killed. To save her son, Moses' mother, Yocheved, placed him in a basket and set him adrift on the Nile. His sister, Miriam, watched from a distance. Pharaoh's daughter found the basket and decided to raise the baby as her own, naming him Moses, meaning drawn out of the water. Raised as an Egyptian prince, Moses received an education and privileges, but he always knew he was a Hebrew. Fleeing Egypt. At around 40 years old, Moses witnessed an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave. In anger, he killed the Egyptian and buried the body in the sand. When Pharaoh learned of the act, Moses fled to the land of Midian in the northwest Arabian Peninsula. In Midian, Moses met Jethro, a priest, and married his daughter Zipporah. He became a shepherd and lived there for 40 years. The burning bush. When Moses was about 80, he had a life-changing encounter on Mount Horeb, also called Mount Sinai. He saw a burning bush that was not consumed by fire. God spoke to Moses through the bush, commanding him to return to Egypt and free the Israelites from slavery. God also gave Moses signs and powers to prove his authority. With his brother Aaron as his spokesperson, Moses returned to Egypt and demanded Pharaoh release the Israelites. The 10 plagues and the Exodus Pharaoh refused, prompting God to send 10 devastating plagues to Egypt, including turning the Nile River to blood swarms of frogs, gnats, and flies, livestock diseases, boils, hailstorms, locusts, darkness, the death of Egypt's firstborn sons. The final plague broke Pharaoh's resistance. To protect their children, the Israelites marked their doors with lamb's blood, a practice that became the Passover tradition. Pharaoh finally let the Israelites go. This event, known as the Exodus, occurred around 1250 BCE. Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, heading toward the promised land of Canaan. Crossing the Red Sea, when Pharaoh changed his mind and pursued the fleeing Israelites, they found themselves trapped between the Red Sea and the Egyptian army. God instructed Moses to stretch out his hand, parting the sea and creating a dry path for the Israelites. Once they crossed safely, the waters returned, drowning the pursuing Egyptians. Receiving the 10 Commandments in the desert, the Israelites camped at Mount Sinai, where God gave Moses the 10 Commandments, laws inscribed on stone tablets. These included fundamental principles like honoring parents, not killing, stealing, or lying. These commandments became the cornerstone of Jewish law and ethics. 40 years in the desert. Despite God's miracles, the Israelites often doubted and disobeyed him, leading to 40 years of wandering in the desert. Moses remained their leader, guiding them toward the promised land. The mystery of his burial. Moses' life ended before he could enter Canaan. According to the Bible, God showed him the promised land from Mount Nebo, but forbade him from entering. He died there, and his burial site was hidden, remaining undiscovered to this day, until Josh Gates's bold claim of finding it. Why does this mystery captivate so many? And what did Josh Gates uncover? Stay tuned as we explore these revelations and the potential implications for faith, history, and archaeology. The search for Moses' burial site, an extraordinary journey. During their 40 years of wandering in the desert, the Israelites faced many challenges, but God provided for their needs in miraculous ways. Each morning, a special food called manna appeared on the ground, and when the people were thirsty, Moses struck a rock to bring forth water. As their leader, Moses settled disputes, taught God's laws, and oversaw the construction of the tabernacle, a sacred tent where the Israelites could worship. Near the end of their journey, Moses climbed Mount Nebo, where God showed him the promised land. However, because of his disobedience at the waters of Meribah, God told Moses he would not enter the land. The Bible records that Moses died on Mount Nebo, and God himself buried him in a secret place. This event is believed to have occurred around 1271 BCE. The mystery of Moses' burial site has fascinated scholars, historians, and believers for centuries. Modern-day explorer Josh Gates decided to tackle this ancient enigma, and his findings could shed new light on this age-old mystery. A mission to uncover the unknown. While Mount Nebo is traditionally considered Moses' final resting place, Josh Gates discovered new clues suggesting the burial site might be elsewhere. Intriguingly, some ancient texts and local legends point to areas around the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee, located in northern Israel, is the country's largest freshwater lake. With its rich biblical history and religious significance, this region seemed like a promising area to search for traces of Moses' burial site. In early 2018, Gates and his team began their mission. They gathered historical documents, maps, and other resources to plan their expedition. The goal was to explore underwater sites for ancient artifacts or structures that might be linked to Moses. Cutting-edge tools for exploration. The team employed advanced technologies to aid their search, satellite imagery. By analyzing satellite data, they identified geographical features matching ancient descriptions. Ground-penetrating radar, GPR. This non-invasive tool allowed them to detect buried structures and anomalies without digging. Drones. Equipped with high-resolution cameras, drones provided aerial views of the landscape, revealing features not visible from the ground. 3D scanning technology. This created detailed models of any significant finds, enabling precise documentation and analysis. The underwater discovery. In October 2018, Gates's team began exploring the Sea of Galilee's lakebed. Using sonar and other equipment, they discovered a massive submerged structure, a circular stone monument known as a cairn. Made of stacked basalt rocks, the structure measured approximately 230 feet in diameter and 32 feet high. Cairns are often associated with ancient burial practices, making this find particularly significant. Gates and his team believed the site might hold clues about Moses or other key historical figures. Examining the site. The team carefully removed silt and sediment from the structure, revealing its intricate design. They excavated using traditional archaeological tools, uncovering pottery shards and tools that appeared to be thousands of years old. Carbon dating indicated that some artifacts dated back roughly 3,200 years, around the time Moses is believed to have lived. Local legends and ancient texts referenced submerged cities and monuments in the area, but none mentioned Moses specifically. Challenges and findings. Exploring underwater came with significant challenges, including poor visibility, strong currents, and working at great depths. Despite these difficulties, the team consulted with historians and archaeologists to analyze their findings. The pottery and tools suggested a link to ancient civilizations, but no direct evidence tied the site to Moses. The discovery of the submerged cairn, however, opened new avenues for understanding the region's history and its connection to biblical events. The mystery continues. While Josh Gates's expedition didn't definitively solve the mystery of Moses' burial, it added valuable insights and sparked further exploration. The search for Moses' tomb remains one of history's most enduring enigmas, blending faith, legend, and archaeology in a quest to uncover the truth. What lies beneath the surface of the Sea of Galilee? Could more hidden clues await discovery? One thing is certain, the journey to uncover Moses' story is far from over. Unraveling the mystery of Moses' final resting place. Despite the absence of direct evidence, the discovery of the cairn added an intriguing layer to the mystery of Moses' burial site. By early 2019, Josh Gates and his team had meticulously mapped the entire structure and collected extensive data. However, their search did not uncover any definitive artifacts or clues of significant value. The quest to locate Moses' resting place continues to captivate explorers and scholars alike. Christianity is not the only religion with deep ties to Moses. Other faiths also hold varying beliefs about the location of his burial site. In this next section, we'll explore alternative sites proposed by different traditions and uncover the reasons these locations are considered potential burial places for Moses. Prepare to dive into a fascinating journey across history and faith. Moses in Islamic tradition, the Nabi Musa site. Let's start with the Islamic perspective on Moses' burial place, which centers on a site called Nabi Musa. This significant religious landmark is located in the Judean desert near the Dead Sea, approximately 18.6 miles east of Jerusalem. In Islam, Moses, known as Musa, is revered as one of the most important prophets. He is mentioned in the Quran more times than any other prophet, underscoring his vital role in Islamic teachings. His story emphasizes faith, perseverance, and divine guidance. Muslims believe Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt and received the Torah, teaching lessons on the importance of following God's commandments and maintaining unwavering faith. The history of Nabi Musa. The association of Nabi Musa with Moses' burial dates back to the medieval Islamic period. Around 1269 CE, during the reign of the Mamluk Sultanate, Sultan Baybars, a prominent Mamluk ruler, commissioned the construction of a shrine and mosque at the site. His goal was to establish Nabi Musa as a significant religious location for Muslims to honor Moses. The site quickly became a place of pilgrimage and spiritual significance. Over the centuries, it has drawn thousands of visitors who come to pray, seek blessings, and connect with their faith. The annual Nabi Musa Festival. One of the most notable events at Nabi Musa is the annual pilgrimage known as the Nabi Musa Festival. This celebration, linked to the Muslim observance of Laylat al-Miraj, the night journey of Prophet Muhammad, attracts thousands of pilgrims each year. The pilgrimage begins with a procession in Jerusalem and culminates at the shrine in Nabi Musa. Pilgrims participate in religious ceremonies, prayers, and communal gatherings, creating a vibrant atmosphere of faith and unity. Architecture and preservation of Nabi Musa. The Nabi Musa complex includes a mosque, a shrine, and accommodations for pilgrims. Its architecture reflects the medieval Islamic style, and over the years, various Islamic authorities have expanded and renovated the site to preserve its cultural and religious heritage. The shrine, believed by many to be Moses' burial place, serves as the focal point of the site. Daily prayers are conducted in the mosque, while pilgrims visit the shrine to seek spiritual solace and blessings. A living legacy. Nabi Musa is more than just a historical site. It is a place of profound religious significance. Muslims from around the world visit the site to connect with their faith and reflect on the teachings of Moses. The annual pilgrimage fosters a sense of unity among Muslims from diverse backgrounds, emphasizing shared faith and cultural traditions. The site also serves as an educational resource, offering visitors insights into the life of Moses and his role in Islamic teachings. Efforts to preserve Nabi Musa have ensured that it remains a cherished landmark for future generations. The buildings have been expanded and improved to accommodate the growing number of pilgrims, maintaining its relevance as a spiritual and cultural center. A beacon of faith. Today, Nabi Musa continues to hold immense significance for Muslims worldwide. It stands as a testament to the enduring legacy of Moses in Islamic tradition, offering a place for reflection, prayer, and spiritual renewal. The site not only preserves the memory of Moses, but also celebrates the unity and shared beliefs that bind the Islamic community together. The enduring significance of pilgrimage to Nabi Musa. The pilgrimage to Nabi Musa remains a vital tradition, drawing thousands of participants annually. It stands as a tribute to the lasting legacy of Moses and his central role in Islamic tradition. Religious ceremonies at Nabi Musa are a highlight of the pilgrimage, where worshippers gather to pray, recite verses from the Quran, and engage in communal worship. These rituals offer Muslims an opportunity to honor Moses and reflect on his teachings, fostering a profound sense of community and shared faith. The pilgrimage is more than a spiritual journey. It's a deeply moving experience that strengthens the participants' connection to their faith. Nabi Musa also holds historical significance, having served as a place of worship and pilgrimage for centuries. The site's buildings and structures provide a glimpse into the architectural styles and cultural practices of the medieval Islamic period. For many, visiting Nabi Musa offers a serene environment for prayer and reflection, bridging their faith with their history. The annual pilgrimage is a celebration of shared beliefs and unity within the Islamic community. For countless visitors, it is a deeply meaningful experience that reaffirms their spiritual devotion. Jebel Harun, another possible resting place of Moses. Another site of interest regarding Moses' burial is Jebel Harun, also known as Mount Aaron, located in Jordan. This mountain, traditionally associated with Moses' brother Aaron, is believed by some to also be a potential burial site for Moses. The connection is rooted in religious traditions and historical accounts spanning centuries. Biblical narratives and historical context. According to the Old Testament, particularly the Book of Numbers, Moses and the Israelites wandered the wilderness for 40 years after leaving Egypt. During this time, Moses received the 10 Commandments and other laws from God at Mount Sinai. As their journey progressed, the Israelites neared Canaan, the Promised Land. In Numbers 20, a pivotal event is described near Mount Hor. God instructed Moses and Aaron to address the congregation of Israel. However, because of their earlier disobedience, God declared that Aaron would not enter the Promised Land. Moses and Aaron ascended the mountain with Aaron's son Eleazar. At the summit, Aaron passed away, marking the end of his role as high priest and leader of the Levites. Moses and Eleazar then descended the mountain, leaving Aaron buried at the site. Mount Hor, traditionally identified as Jebel Harun, has retained its association with Aaron's burial through Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions. Religious and archaeological significance of Jebel Harun. Jebel Harun has long been revered in various faiths due to its connection to Aaron. The mountain holds an important place in Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions, all of which recognize Aaron as a significant religious figure. While its association with Moses is less prominent, the idea that it might also be his burial place stems from overlapping narratives and the sacred nature of the site. Archaeological investigations and religious pilgrimages have further cemented Jebel Harun's importance. The mountain's historical and spiritual relevance continues to draw interest from scholars and believers alike. A journey of faith and discovery. Both Nabi Musa and Jebel Harun serve as profound reminders of the enduring impact of Moses and Aaron. These sites, deeply rooted in religious and historical traditions, invite reflection on their teachings and legacies. They are not merely places of pilgrimage, but also living symbols of faith, history, and the shared values that bind diverse communities together. The legacy of Jebel Harun and the search for Moses' tomb Islamic traditions universally emphasize the significance of Jebel Harun, associating it with Aaron's death and burial. Moving to Jewish traditions, Jebel Harun's identification as the biblical Mount Hor is deeply rooted in religious teachings and historical interpretations. Jewish scholars and rabbis have long upheld the belief that Aaron was buried there, as described in the biblical account of Moses accompanying him to the mountain and overseeing his passing. Early Christian pilgrims and scholars, guided by biblical narratives, also connected Mount Hor with Jebel Harun. They regarded it as a sacred site intertwined with the stories of Moses and Aaron. This tradition has endured through centuries of Christian teachings and writings, maintaining the mountain's significance in their faith. Beyond religious texts, archaeological discoveries and historical accounts further illuminate Jebel Harun's importance. The nearby ancient city of Petra, a hub of trade and culture during biblical times, suggests the mountain would have been well known and possibly revered by the region's early inhabitants. Excavations in Petra and its surrounding areas have uncovered artifacts and inscriptions that offer glimpses into the spiritual practices of those who lived there. Although direct evidence linking Jebel Harun to Moses' burial remains elusive, the mountain's prominence in religious and historical contexts cannot be ignored. For centuries, Jebel Harun has been a destination for cultural and religious pilgrimages, attracting people of various faiths seeking to honor the biblical figures associated with it. Pilgrimages to the mountain continue today, highlighting its enduring role in the spiritual landscape of the Middle East. Moses' legacy, a search beyond boundaries. The search for Moses' tomb captivates believers and scholars alike, driven not only by the desire to uncover a physical location, but also to understand Moses' enduring impact. His teachings and leadership have shaped religious ethics and moral codes across generations and cultures. Moses' legacy transcends religious boundaries, influencing literature, art, and philosophy worldwide. Even though his tomb's exact location remains undiscovered, his life and teachings continue to inspire millions as a symbol of resilience, faith, and divine guidance. For many, the search for Moses' tomb is a deeply spiritual journey, offering a way to connect with their faith and draw closer to a revered prophet and leader. Pilgrimages to sites like Mount Nebo provide opportunities for reflection on his teachings and their relevance in contemporary life. So where do you think Moses' tomb might be? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support our channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.